What's going on, folks? My name is Ken, and first, before anything, I hope y'all been drinking y'all water. This is my missile of a water flask right here. It's empty. Make sure y'all stay hydrated, alright? Today, I just wanted to give y'all a little story about, how lying it's just never worth it. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Like, as you grow up, your parents probably taught you lying is very bad. You shouldn't do it. It's just morally incorrect, and nothing good comes from it. And if you do lie, it's more than likely gonna come back and bite you in the behind later on. So, when I was in middle school, specifically the sixth grade, I believe I was 11 years old. Um, I was a walker, and me and my family, we lived in these townhouses that were right across from my middle school, and so it was like about a 3 to 5 minute walk for me to get to school. So, um, so after school, I'm walking. I get home, and at the time I was really hooked on this one MMORPG game that was called League of Angels. Man, I miss that game. At the time, this game had me in a chokehold really bad. So I get home straight from school, and before anything, like, I'm not stunned doing any homework at all. I don't care about that. I don't care about eating. I just go straight to my room and I start playing League of Angels. And after a few hours of me playing, my mom comes to my room, and I stink. Like, I smell like outside. I've been at school all day, and she tells me to go hop in the shower. I go in the bathroom. I start running the water, and I get undressed. I never get in the shower. Like, I just run the water so it sounds like I'm taking a shower, but in reality, I'm not. Now, looking back at it, I really should have just took the shower, because it's like I already got undressed and I'm running the water. I'm running my mother water bill up. It's like I might as well have just hopped in the shower. But I don't know, kid logic. But yeah, after I act like I'm taking a shower, come out. Sometimes my mom, she would check me, to see, like, like how your skin feels after you take a warm shower. You feel like real tender. Your hair may even be a little bit wet. So my mom, she didn't check me this time. I'm playing League of Angels all the way up until bedtime. I didn't eat. I did not take a shower. I didn't do anything. I didn't do any homework at all. My bedtime was around 8:30 or 9. My mom, she comes to my room. She tells me to shut it down. I shut everything down. Turn off my laptop. Get in bed. But I already had it in my mind. Like, I'm not gonna stay in this bed. Like, I'm about to, as soon as my mom falls asleep, I'll probably give it about an hour or so. I'm gonna get back out of my bed and I'm gonna start playing League of Angels again. So about after an hour, you know, of my mom sending me to bed, I go ahead and I go right back to my desk. I turn the brightness down on my laptop. So, in the case if my mother did come out of her room, she wouldn't see like the glare, like the brightness of, coming from my laptop screen. I'm playing League of Angels, man. It was like a public event or something going on, like a world event. It was one of those kinds of games, like very, very social. You could chat, like world chat. There were guilds as well. I was just having way too much fun that night. So hours go by, like I'm still up. It's 1 a.m., 2 a.m. Next thing you know, it's 6 a.m. And then, my mother, she leaves to go to work before I have to leave and walk to go to school. So it hits 7 a.m. That's when I start getting tired. Now I hear my mom, she's getting ready to go to work. Now I'm laying down in bed because it's like, man, me staying up all night, it just caught up with me. I didn't get any sleep at all. So I'm laying down in bed, and my alarm, it goes off at 7:30 a.m. And I had one of those old fashioned alarm clocks. I didn't like, I had a trap phone, but it didn't, like, the alarm just wasn't loud enough. So it's like my mom got me this old fashioned alarm clock that would make that, like, that like really annoying sound. It just like gave me PTSD. Like, I really did not like that alarm clock. It was just way too loud, but it got the job done. My mom, she goes to work. My alarm clock goes off. Instead of just going to school, I decide, I'm gonna play League of Angels some more. And so, it's 7:30. No, it's 8 o'clock now at this point. And I'm still playing. I'm still playing. 9 o'clock comes, I'm still playing. 10 o'clock comes, I'm still playing. I should have been walked to school starting at what? At 8:15. I should have been started walking at 8:15. I believe like breakfast ended at, I believe, 8:45. Yeah, I decided that I was going to continue to play and I was going to miss, like the first 3 periods, just go to school when lunch starts. It all sounded like fine and dandy, honestly. Like, okay, like, yeah, I miss half of the school day and I go when lunch starts. It sounded like a very swell idea. So about like 10:15. Now I decide that I'm about to walk to school. It doesn't take me long to get there at all. Like I said, I only live it's about a 3 to 5 minute walk. So walk through the front door. I'm really expecting to just be able to walk in and go straight, to lunch. As soon as I walk in through those double doors, I get stopped by school administration off rip. The front office, they're asking me for an excuse as to why I'm late because I walked in, and usually if a student were to walk in late, usually their parent would walk in with them and give the school the excuse as to why my child is coming in late. It's just me because I had no reason as to why I should have been walking in late. They asked me why I'm walking in late, and so I tell them that I just came back from an appointment and that my mother, she had to like speed off real quick, like she had to get back to work. I don't think they believe that story at all because they just sent me straight to the counselor's office. And the thing about me and the counselor at this point is that at this point I was getting into a lot of trouble. I wasn't on my best behavior at this point. So she asked me, she's like, why are you in my office? Because usually whenever I would go into her office, it would be because, I'm in trouble or I just got into some trouble. So I tell her that, I just walked in late, and she said, where's your excuse? Man, instead of just me sticking with like I had a doctor's appointment and, I didn't have a note and that's why they sent me to your office, right? I just jump straight to probably the worst thing you could possibly say. I said that I came to school so late because I was scared to come out of my house. She's like, oh, like, Kenny, why were you scared to come out of your house? And I go ahead and tell her, man, I'm telling you, like, probably the worst thing I could have said. I said that there were these gang members that were patrolling the area outside of my house. And they were saying that, man, bro, next dude that come outside, bro, we gonna beat that man, bro. We gonna beat you, bro. We don't care if you a boy, girl, bro, young, old, nothing. So I tell her all that. She's like, cause students in danger. I'm a little kid, bro. I'm 11 years old, and I just told her this, and so now, because of what I just told her, now police officer gets involved. She calls one to the office, and she tells me to tell this officer exactly what I just told her. And so I do exactly that. I recited the entire story. Said that there's these dudes walking around, they're patrolling the area outside my house, saying that next dude that come outside, bro, next person they gonna beat they gonna beat them. So he starts asking me for a description of these individuals, these imaginary individuals. They don't exist at all. So off the fly, I'm starting to come up with just anything, man. I'm saying, oh, like one of them had a plain white tee on, some black ripped jeans, low cut. Another one plain black tee, blue jeans, and then the other two like a red shirt, blue shirt. But the thing about all four of these dudes is that they all have a red bandana like poking out their back pocket. I gave this officer descriptions of individuals who don't even exist. And so now it gets very serious because I believe at this point they really do believe that these people exist and that this is a real danger, a real threat to our students. So he calls more officers in there, and he also calls his sergeant in there as well. So now I'm in a room full of officers, and on top of that, the counselor, she had already called my mother. My mother, bro, if your mother has to leave work early because you done got yourself into some trouble, bro, it's gonna be unfortunate, bro. It's just not gonna be a good time for you, man. So yeah, don't do it. So at this point, I'm in a room full of, I believe it was 5 officers, my mother, the school counselor, and I believe like one other school administrator. I don't know what her status was or why she even needed to be in there hearing all this going on. When I'm in a room full of all these grown adults, bro, imagine Imagine you are an 11-year-old. Imagine 11-year-old you having all these grown adults, like being just surrounded by them, and you have to explain this story over and over and over again, bro. And so that's what I'm doing. So I'm nervous as I don't know what. I'm nervous. They're asking me other small questions like, did you get any of their names, or like, where did they walk off to? Did you hear any other conversations that they were having outside of, them just causing harm to you or anybody else that were going to walk outside? And I say no. And this was their way of like catching me in my lie, right? So they kept asking me for the story. I don't know. I told this story so many times, but the thing about it is that I kept changing up something every time I told the story. And I mean, that wasn't the smartest thing to do. I mean, getting myself into the situation wasn't the smartest thing to do to begin with, because, I could have just went to school and it would have all been fine. But, you know, I kept changing up little things, or I'll hit them with or I forgot, what I'm saying, that this happened, or, oh wait, no, I just remember, what I'm saying, that this happened actually. And so I was doing that a lot when I was telling the story. And so that's why I believe, bro, I feel like they started to not believe me, but, they didn't say anything. She's looking me in my eye now. She's like, KJ, are you lying? Like, did this actually happen? And I'm like looking at my mom. I'm like, yes, this actually happened. Like, they were gonna hurt me, mom. Like, I was just scared to go outside. And then she's like, all right. So my mom and I, we go home, and, car ride home, I mean, it's not a long one at all, because, I told you that it's only a 5-minute walk. So my mom, she's saying in the car ride, she's like, this just doesn't sound believable, because, my mom, she knows me. Like, when I was a kid, I would lie a lot. And honestly, it would just be, I would lie for no reason. Sometimes it just didn't make any sense. Don't know why I did that, but didn't care too much about at the time. Yeah, I didn't care too much about integrity. It took me a while before I could learn the importance of that. I'm telling my mom, saying like, Mom, this really happened. Like, they were gonna do something to me. I was just scared to go outside. And so get in the house. She tells me to go straight to my room. She takes my video game. So at this time, I have 3 ways that I could play video games. I have a DSi XL. She takes that. I have a Wii as well. She already knew about my laptop, so she took that also. So she took all 3 ways that I could play video games, because she's just furious with me. She tells me to go to my room. She says, she's like, do your homework or read or whatever. And you cannot go outside either, because I love to go outside. I would hoop with the bros and stuff. So I remember like being in my head at this time. I just thought it was strange how my mother, she took all my game consoles before she even had confirmation that I was lying my behind off. Being an adult now, I guess I could see, because it just sounded like, think about it now, man. It just sounds like some BS. It just doesn't sound believable at all. So probably about 2 hours pass by. Everybody starts getting out of school at this point. Man, I had like my homeboys. They came and knocked on the door. They're like trying to see if I could come outside. My mother, she answers the door. She's like, he can't come outside. So they walk off. Man, I went downstairs like just to see if my mom would say I could come outside too. I had put my shoes on to see if like maybe she saw that, okay, he put his shoes on. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't want him to just get excited like he's about to go outside. And then, like, man, my mom was not stunned that at all. And she told me to take them shoes off, go back to my room. Did exactly that. My mom, she ended up calling my stepdad. And, I had knowledge that, my stepdad served in the military. And so, in my mind, I believed he had like access to all kinds of military, like technology and just all kinds of things, right? She ends up getting on the phone with him, right? She gives the phone to me. He's like, I have a buddy, real high ranking officer in the Air Force. He has access to, satellites, and, our satellites have cameras on them, which, I know they actually do, but he's saying that his friend has access to these satellite surveillance. And so he'd be able to get that surveillance from him and see if I'm actually lying or not. In my mind, I just like me, my child mind. I'm just like, oh man, like dang, I'm caught. I am caught. Like he's gonna be able to see that I was lying, and so I folded under no pressure at all. Like that's all he told me. That's all it took right there. He said that he had access to satellite surveillance, and I said I just came clean, bro. I just came clean. I said, all right, like I'm sorry, I was lying. Like I just stayed home and I just skipped school. I just didn't want to go to school that morning. And I try to like even sprinkle in a little bit of oh, I didn't feel too well. My stomach was hurting, man. They didn't care about none of that. And he was like, okay. And so, I gave the phone back to my mom. Oh, I forgot to mention that so I was outside when I did have this phone conversation with him. So my mother, she couldn't hear it. Because I would imagine that if I was on the phone right in front of her, having a conversation with him, I still would have ended up lying. So, go back inside, hand the phone to my mom, and, obviously he tells her what I just told him. And my mom, she's just looking at me like she has the firmest look on her face, looking me straight in my eyes, just upset, disappointed, just not happy at all with, what she just found out. Because, she had to take off work early for some BS. She had to leave work early for absolutely no reason at all. So, um, yeah, I mean, my mom, she took all of my game consoles. She told me to go straight to my room. I'm not coming out. I can't go outside. I believe this happened in the month of September too. So I was put on punishment for the remainder of that year. I didn't come off of punishment until Christmas that year. So those are the longest 3 months, man. It just felt like so long. I didn't have any game console. I couldn't go outside. All I could do was go to school, do homework, and just read books. And I just remember, man, it was just so boring. It just felt like it was so long too. And on top of all that, my mom, she made me write one page of a current event that was going on in the world every single Friday. I had to do that every single Friday. So it was extremely boring. I really did not enjoy doing it. Did not like that time at all. Um, being an 11-year-old kid, bro, especially like an 11-year-old boy, you just want to have fun, do the things that you love to do. So it's just like I couldn't do any of that. I just had to take the full force of the punishment. I mean, I did earn that, I should have just went to school in the first place. But yeah, I mean, I say all this to say, look, moral of the story, bro, don't lie. Especially don't lie to your parents. It's never going to be worth it in the long run. I mean, that could have gone way worse. I could have actually gotten in trouble with the law or whatever. I don't know. But moral of the story, y'all, just don't lie. Don't lie to y'all parents, bro. It's just not worth it. Nothing good comes from lying, and what is done in the dark will come to light. Peace out, y'all.